We're going step by step through the exact. I sound like a fucking sports announcer, dude. All right, I'm gonna lean into that. Maybe that'll play. We're going step by step through the exact keyword research process you need to follow to create your Amazon PPC campaigns. I'm Chris Rawlings. I'm one of the single top spenders of Amazon ads on the platform with over $3 million in monthly Amazon PPC ad spend. The best Amazon PPC always starts with banging keyword research. Not good, banging. And I'm showing you right now, step by step, exactly how to do keyword research right, and then how to use that keyword research to set up your campaigns for maximum profit, so that you avoid wasting a ton of ad spend because you didn't do your research, you naughty boy or girl. Plus, I've got my hojicha, the best iced hojicha this side of the Mississippi, which means I'm fueled up for this, boys and girls. can't be only talking to the boys. This video is gonna get flagged. We're gonna be doing keyword research for this product, but we're gonna be doing it as though it's a new product launch, not an existing product on Amazon. So you can use this keyword research process either if you've got a new product to launch, or if you are doing like a relaunch, like the product is just dead or it's been unranked for a really long time and you're trying to relaunch it. So this is the process you want to follow for that particular case scenario. There's another process that you want to follow to mine keyword data from an existing product that's already live on Amazon. I'm going to do a separate video about that on how to analyze your own search term reports and other reports on Amazon. But in all honesty, whether or not your product is live or it's about to go live, this process is going to work for you because it's very unique in the fact that it separates your keywords into groups of buyer intent. And this is really the key. You guys have heard me talk about this before, but I never did a video on it for whatever reason. Now I'm finally doing it. This is how you do keyword research, where you can segregate your keywords by buyer intent so that you can create campaigns that are centered around a certain intent that your shoppers have. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about right now. The end result of this that you're going to get at the end of this video is a keyword research master list for your product that looks something like this. You've got your single keyword campaigns, you've got keywords segregated into each buyer intent, and you've got even lists of other things like competitor keywords, your own branded keywords, and any words that you want to negate in your campaigns because you know that they don't apply to your product. We're even going to pull out keywords that are better for running traffic to a store versus running traffic to the product itself. Once you have this, you have the raw material you need to make your sponsored product campaigns. Now, the tool we're going to be using throughout this process is called Helium 10. And even though Helium 10 recently has not been very nice to me, so Helium 10, if you're watching this, be nice, dude. It is still the most trusted platform to do keyword research external to Amazon itself on the marketplace right now. So we're going to be using this tool. I'm not officially affiliated with Helium 10, but you just go to helium10.com and sign up for free right here, and you can start using this right away. But even if you have your own separate third-party tool, you can use that too. A lot of them work very similar ways. So just follow along with the process. You'll be able to replicate this process no matter what tool you're using. So once you get Helium 10, it's going to give you access to this Chrome browser extension. Then you're going to go to Amazon and type in the word that you would use to find the product that you're launching or that you have on Amazon. So in our case, it's welcome mat. That's what the product is. Okay. Now that you've typed that in, you see a bunch of search results here, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is use this extension, click X-ray, and now you're gonna see all of the search results in the same order that you would see them on Amazon. What you wanna do is click filters and make sure that you have the filter set of hide sponsored products from results, because we don't wanna see the ads that show up. We wanna see the products that are already organically ranking page 1 for the main keyword. Click apply filters, and now you've got a list of all of the products without the ads that are ranking organically for your main keyword. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through these and we're gonna choose 9 competitors that are like our product. Now this is key. For this example, we're doing this for a welcome mat that's meant to be used outside, right? Now if I look through these results, most of them are gonna be a similar type of product to that because of what I searched, right? Now I'm just gonna go through each one and check each one to make sure that it is a similar type of product to what I'm selling, not a totally different product. So this, for example, is a different thing. This is like a utility mat for like businesses, whereas mine is more like a welcome mat for homes. So I'm not gonna select that because it's not the same product niche. It's not the same product category, even though it's ranking for this main keyword. Now I'm gonna go through these. I'm gonna select 9 of the similar products that are ranking as high as possible that are the same offer proposition as my product. So now I've selected my 9 top ranking products for my main keyword that are the same as my product offer. Now what I'm gonna do is click Run Cerebro here, and this is gonna take me to the tool inside Helium 10 called Cerebro. What this does is it takes those products that you just selected and it fetches all the keywords that those products are ranking for. That's gonna be the basis of our keyword list. But the magic really comes into how we filter this list and how we process the list. And that's the process that I'm walking you through right now. So the first thing you wanna do is make sure that match type is selected as organic, because we don't want the keywords that they're ranking sponsored. We want the keywords that they're ranking organically for. Now let's see how many keywords this gives us before we apply any other filters. Okay, 8,000 keywords. Now that's a little too much, right? And we're trying to segregate the most important keywords into a few different campaigns. Putting 8,000 keywords in is not a very efficient way to do it. There are some people, some sellers who would tell you that they actually would create 8,000 campaigns or put 8,000 keywords in these campaigns, but I can tell you that is not an efficient way to do it, and it doesn't make sense. It's basically you saying, I'm smarter than Amazon. I'm gonna do all of the research for every single possible long tail keyword ahead of time and not give Amazon any leeway to find any long tail keywords itself, which is a bad idea. You guys have heard me say this before. You want to, in today's Amazon PPC landscape, give Amazon some flexibility to find its own keywords. So what we're focusing on with this keyword research is not finding every single one of the thousands or tens of thousands of keywords that you could potentially rank for, even if one person is searching it. We're trying to find like 50 to 150 keywords that we can focus on with our campaigns that are the most important, that are the most relevant, and have the most traffic. So what we're gonna do now is parse down this list a little bit so that we can get that number of searches down. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna say minimum search volume of 500, because if it's less than that, then it's probably not worth our attention. We're gonna say number of competitors minimum 3, meaning 3 at least of the products that we put in are ranking for that particular keyword. And we're gonna say that they're ranking at least in the top 50, so competitor rank max 50. We're also gonna make sure that match type is organic, because we don't want ones that are ranking for sponsored terms. We only want what they're ranking organically for. Then we'll hit apply, and there you go. We got 144 search terms now. Now that is a manageable number. So what you're gonna do next is export the data, CSV file, and now in Google Sheets, we're gonna import that file. So we're gonna click File, Import, Upload, drag that file in. Then we're just gonna say, replace current sheet, import data, and boom, we've got all our keywords in Google Sheets now. We're just gonna move this search volume column over because that's the most important one. So we see the keyword and we have the search volume. Now we're just gonna pretty this up a little bit because I like pretty things. So we're gonna click the first row, bold it, underline it, center it. And now we've got all our relevant data here. First thing we're gonna do is sort this data by the most search term. So you're just gonna create data, sort sheet, sort by column B, Z to A. And now we've got the top search term all the way down to the least search term. We've got 144 terms here. Now what we wanna do is segregate these keywords out into the most important categories. So we want the keywords that are our single keyword campaigns, right? The most important ones that we want a dedicated campaign for. We want the keywords in each of the keyword groupings. And we even want to pull out negative keywords that definitely don't apply to us, that we know don't apply to us, but that keep showing up so that Amazon can't waste their ad spend on that. So what we're going to do is create a column to the left of these keywords. We're going to call this alpha keywords. And then we're going to select 5 keywords that we want to really focus on that have a good mix of high search volume and high relevance to our product. Doormat is too broad because it covers too many different types of products that don't match our product, so we're gonna skip that one. Welcome Mat Outdoor is very relevant and very high search volume, so that's a good one. Welcome Mat as well, high search volume, very relevant. Now Doormat Outside Entrance, that's a good one because it covers a different term, doormat, than just welcome mat. And it's more specific because it says outside entrance to our product. Front door mat outside entrance is too close to the previous term, so we're just gonna skip that. Front door mat, that's a good one. High relevance, high search volume, and outdoor mat as well. So now we've got our 5. Now, if you have a lower budget, you may not be focusing your single keyword exact match campaign so high up the list in search volume because you might not have the budget to rank for those search terms, you may have to niche down a little bit. And even if you're really low budget, you might have to niche down everything, even your product images, even your primary image, even your listing text, just to tailor your offer to a lower search volume but higher relevance search term. But in general, we know that these terms, these 5 terms, are terms that have high search volume and are high relevance for us. And the reason we add that little X there is because now it makes it easy to pull those search terms out, because we can select the first row, click create filter, and then we can filter out anything that doesn't have the X, and boom, it shows our 5 primary alpha search terms there that we're going to focus our single keyword exact match campaigns on for ranking purposes. And you can always just clear the filter and see the whole list again. Okay, next we're going to thumb through this list a little bit and try to find terms that are definitely not relevant to us. And those ones we're going to use as our phrase negations in our campaigns to make sure that Amazon doesn't show us for keywords that include that term. So one example that I see right off the bat is inside or indoor. These terms are not relevant to us because our mat is clearly not for the purposes of being put inside a house. It's an outdoor doormat, not an inside doormat. So you're going to go through the list, find terms that definitely don't apply, and you're going to add them to this little phrase negations list. And by the way, again, I'm giving you guys this template so that you can use it. You don't have to build it on your own. If you want to, you can. But in the link in the description of this video, I have the template already ready for you with examples of it already being filled out. It's going to make it real easy for you to do your keyword research in a very organized way. So just go through the list, and then you're going to add anything that's definitely not relevant to your product into this list. You should have maybe a dozen, maybe 2 dozen terms that you find in the keyword research that don't apply. So I chose indoor, inside, folding because mine doesn't fold, foam because mine's not made of foam, kitten, kitty, puppy because mine don't include that, yoga because it's not a yoga mat. And these are all things that Amazon could advertise us for, which would just waste our ad spend. So this basically just keeps Amazon from wasting our ad spend. Okay, the next big thing we want to do is segregate these search terms by shopper intent. And this is so key. This is really a secret that you may not find in other keyword research trainings. This is what allows you to create campaigns centered around a specific buyer intent or shopper intent. So if I go through this, I'll show you some examples. So there's a number of keywords that are about the size, like large. There are a number of keywords that are about the style, like funny or cute. There are a number of keywords that are about the heavy duty or durability of it, like heavy duty or waterproof. There are a number of keywords about the material, like coir, that's coconut husk. That's what our mat that we're doing the keyword research on is made of. And there's a few other patterns as well, but instead of going through each and every keyword and segregating it out manually, we're living in the age of AI. So we're going to use AI to help us out with this. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to remove the ones that we already set are our alpha keywords because we want to deal with the rest of the keywords. Then we're going to select these 2 columns, paste them into a new sheet. Then we're going to download that as a CSV. Then we're going to go to ChatGPT, chatgpt.com or chat.openai.com, and we're just going to ask it, take this list of keywords with their associated search terms and determine the top keyword families you see based on different buyer intents in this list. Then you're going to add the CSV, wait for it to analyze, and here we see that it has created 7 different groups. There's outdoor placement, by doormat, generic, so this is probably just the ones that didn't fit into other categories. Indoor placement, which is ones that we already determined are not relevant to us, so that one we're gonna nix. Then durability and size, like we already observed ourselves. Decorative aesthetic, like we observed ourselves. Natural material, like coir, that we observed ourselves as well. And then funny, personalized. Now the next prompt is very critical. You wanna say generate a list of the keywords with their associated search volume in a CSV file segregated by shopper intent. Make sure each keyword only shows up once on the list. If a keyword can fit into 2 categories, use the following priority list to determine which group to place it in. And then you say what priority you want them to put it in. Because here's the thing, a lot of these keywords will fit into multiple different categories, but you can only put them in one category when you're segregating keywords by shopper intent. What you want to do is go from the most specific to the least specific. So obviously this generic one's going to be at the end of the list, but things that are really specific, like the material, we want that to be in the beginning of the list. So don't go crazy over this, but here's the list that I put it in. Indoor placement, because I know I'm going to negate those anyway. Natural material, then funny, personalized, then decorative aesthetic, then durability and size, then outdoor placement, then by doormat. download the CSV that it generates. Now go back to your original sheet you're working in, create a new sheet there, and import this list. Okay, now you've got your list segregated by the shopper intent. Now, even though it's in the same order that it was before, we can now filter by the shopper intent category. And all you have to do for that is just highlight the first row, go to data, create a filter, and then boom. Now we can look at just the ones that are decorative aesthetic, for example. And we see all these ones: cute doormat, cute welcome doormat, decorative front doormat. These are all about the aesthetic, the vibe of the welcome mat. These people are searching for something very different than people who are searching for heavy duty, even though our product applies to both. Now you guys are starting to see how important this is to segregate your keywords by shopper intent. Because if I have my campaign segregated by these different, very different groups of buyers, what I can start doing is seeing the performance of that campaign from a click-through rate, conversion rate perspective, impression perspective, and I can use that data to improve the rest of the assets of the product. So if I see that for some reason my campaign all about decorative aesthetic is underperforming compared with my other campaigns, then I know something is going on there. Something's wrong. I'm not properly communicating to that group of buyers looking for that particular problem that they want to solve. Maybe I'm not showing how decorative it can be, or I'm not showing it in decorative scenarios. And the only way that I could possibly know that is by having all those keywords in a particular campaign so that I can match the campaign's performance to what my product assets actually are doing. And by product assets, I mean your thumbnail, your primary image, and your title, most importantly, and your listing, which is your secondary images, your A+ content, your brand story, your top voted reviews, and your listing copy. This is the magic, guys. Seriously, this is what most people don't take the time to do, but if you do it, it can supercharge your profitability. Now, all you're gonna do is simply copy all of these terms from each of these groupings into that master list that we had before. Just name the top of each the way I have it in this finished out sheet. Then you're simply gonna paste these search terms with their associated search volume into your master sheet here. Do that for each of the major search term families, and you end up with a master keyword list that looks like this. You've got your single keyword campaigns that we selected. You've got your different groupings. You've got your phrase negations. And if you want, you can go as deep as putting in your own branded search terms in there and your competitor keywords in there so that you can deal with those separately. If you want to go further, you can even put in the keywords that are more likely to be for the intent of going to a storefront rather than a product, like home decor products, for example, front door products. That's not looking for a specific unit. It's looking for it. That's from someone that wants to browse around. So if you have a storefront, it's worth it for you to go through the search terms and actually find the ones that are likely to be for people who want to browse around so that you can send them to your storefront with a sponsored brand campaign instead of a sponsored product campaign. Now, what are you going to do with these keywords? You're simply going to create a campaign for each of these groupings. So to create a sponsored product campaign out of a group of keywords, for example, you go to sponsored products, select the product, click manual targeting, keyword targeting, then go to enter list. Make sure that phrase and broad are unselected and you have exact selected, paste in the list, click add keywords. Then you have to set the bid. I have a whole separate video on setting the bid. By default, if you absolutely have to, you can use Amazon suggested bid. But if you have any sales data, it's much better for you to calculate this on your own. I have a whole video on bidding. You can check that on my channel. Select down only bidding. The placement adjusters, that's a whole separate topic as well. I have a video on that on my channel. If you already know that certain placements work well for you or that you really want to rank for, like top of search, for example, then you could put a few placement adjustments in here. I wouldn't make it more than 10 or 20, max 30%. You don't want to start with a huge placement adjustment. Otherwise, it's totally fine for you to leave that blank. Then you're going to put in your daily budget. Again, I have a whole video on daily budgets. The way you want to budget out is by creating all your campaigns in a campaign planner, determining your total daily budget, and then allocating the budget to each of the campaigns. In this case, I'm going to say $20, and then you're going to launch your campaign. You can also launch broad campaigns using these keywords, but what you're going to do if you launch broad campaigns is add in these phrase negations in the campaign in the phrase negation section under negative keyword targeting. And then negative phrase, you'll paste the phrase negation terms there. That way, in your broad campaigns, Amazon still has the leeway to find other high performing search terms for you, but it's not going to show you for search terms that it might think are relevant, but you know based on your own product knowledge, it's not relevant for. And that is a simple yet effective way for you to speedily do the keyword research for your products for your Amazon PPC campaigns. Now, the process that we run inside Sophie Society is a little bit more sophisticated than that, but I wanted to give you guys something simple and effective and fast that you could use to run that's similar to what we do inside our portfolio of brands. If you're interested in partnering with me to have me take over your Amazon PPC to grow your brand profitably, check the link in the description of this video. And if you want to become a PPC wizard yourself, I host an event. It's called the Profitable PPC Challenge. It's the most well-attended Amazon PPC focused digital event in the world right now. You could check the link to that in the description of this video as well. And if you want to see what happens after this, once you launch a product, check out this real product launch breakdown that I walk through every single campaign in a real product launch that we executed recently. You can check out that video here. I'll see you over there.